Today's episode of Off the Timeline, we use ChatGPT to simulate the 2010 college football season. What if the 2010 college football season didn't end with Cam Newton hoisting a crystal football, but with Nick Saban beating the Miami Hurricanes in a playoff that looked more like March Madness with helmets? What if Florida State wasn't Jimbo Fisher's team at all, but Will Muschamp's, while Fisher turned Tennessee into a giant killer? Buckle up, because in this alternate timeline, the BCS ceases to exist. Instead, a 32-team playoff and a radical realignment turns 2010 into the year college football broke. The cracks form in early 2010. Instead of being Bobby Bowden's handpicked successor, Jimbo Fisher takes the Tennessee job after Lane Kiffin's messy exit. Florida State scrambles, grabbing Will Muschamp from Texas as their new head coach. But the bigger earthquake? Florida State doesn't just change coaches, they change conferences. Goodbye ACC, hello SEC. That move forces the ACC to raid the Big East for UConn and West Virginia, accelerating the Big East collapse years early. And then comes the end of the bowl system. No sugar, no rose, no BCS. In its place, a 32-team playoff, no auto bids. Chaos isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. And also part of this scenario, we're also targeting towards 25% of these games being upsets. And now for a few regular season hot takes and talking points. The SEC is unfair. With Florida State joining, this is basically a professional league. Boise State and TCU can't hide anymore. They either make the 32 or get exposed. Notre Dame needs to join a Super League or risk being left behind forever. If you thought the BCS is controversial, wait until you see a playoff committee with real power. And now on to the 32-team field by conference. The SEC gets 8 teams in, those being Auburn, Arkansas, LSU, Alabama, Florida State, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. The Big 12 gets 6 teams in with Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, Missouri, Texas, and Baylor. 5 teams from the SEC, including Virginia Tech, Miami, NC State, and the new additions UConn and West Virginia. 4 Big 10 teams, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Iowa. We even have a handful of non-major conference teams, those being TCU, Boise State, Nevada, Utah, and Hawaii floating out the field. The first 8 teams out of the tournament are Penn State, Maryland, Georgia Tech, Northwestern, Navy, Oregon State, Florida, and Kansas State, with the clear message being history doesn't matter. Prestige doesn't matter. If you didn't make the 32, you are irrelevant. In the round 1 results, there's a handful of upsets. 31 seed Tennessee upsets number 2 seed Oregon with Jimbo Fisher making some instant noise. 27 seed Miami upsets 6 seed Ohio State. Spoiler alert, Buckeye fans are furious. 23 seed West Virginia upsets number 10 seed LSU, which takes a minor bruise to the SEC's ego. And this is RG3's breakout as 29 seeded Baylor upsets 4 seeded Stanford. And some of the hot takes and talking points: Jimbo Fisher was the real chosen one, not at Florida State, but in Knoxville. The U is back for real this time. And did we just watch the end of Stanford's intellectually brutality era? Now on to round 2, a few key results. Baylor upsets TCU. Miami upsets Wisconsin, with Badgers fans upset about committee seating. Utah upsets Virginia Tech, showing Mountain West has some staying power. And then Alabama crushes Florida State with Will Muschamp's coaching being exposed. The hot takes from round 2 include Miami's running this like it's 2001 again. Florida State made the SEC move, but did they just hire the wrong coach? Now on to the Elite 8 results. Miami upsets Oklahoma. Sooner fans say same as it ever was. In a mid-major battle, Utah upsets Boise State. Auburn beats Baylor, and Alabama ousts South Carolina. In terms of the talking points, the ACC rejects such as Miami are running the bracket. Cam Newton can smell a title, but can he survive this gauntlet? Nick Saban versus Steve Spurrier in the quarterfinals was peak petty theater. And then to the Final Four, Miami upsets Auburn, totally changing Cam Newton's legacy. And then Alabama beats Utah. And Cam Newton gets robbed of GOAT status thanks to a system built on chaos. Miami might actually be back, and Alabama is inevitable. Playoff or no playoff. The the final result: Alabama beats Miami 27-17 in the title game, with Nick Saban as being the real concept of college football. Change everything, he still wins. Miami's run was magical, but was it real or just bracket noise? And now on to the winners and losers. Winners: Alabama. Dynasty confirmed in any timeline. Miami makes a Final Four run for the first time in forever. Jimbo Fisher instantly validates Tennessee as a playoff caliber program. Utah, Cinderella credibility showing mid-majors can hang. Losers, Auburn, Cam Newton, no natty, legacy forever altered. Ohio State, embarrassed by Miami. Florida State, SEC moved overshadowed by a brutal debut by Will Muschamp. The Rose Bowl gone, and the purists never stop complaining. So there you have it. The year 2010 turned upside down. Instead of Cam Newton's coronation, we got Miami's resurrection tour, Utah's Cinderella story, and Nick Saban proving that no matter how much chaos you throw at football, Alabama is inevitable. So what do you think? Was Cam Newton robbed, or would Saban have always found a way? And if you had a 32-team playoff today, how many bloods would survive it? Drop your takes in the comments. Hit that like button if you want more alternate college football chaos. And we'll be back next year for 2011 with a continuation of this Florida State universe. And subscribe if you don't want to miss the next dive into sports history gone sideways.